Welcome to Tea Time with Toya, and I'm your host, Toya. Today is August 3rd, 2014. I want to say thank you for listening, and also just because this conversation I might really get into it, so I want to get this out the way now. But our sponsor, as always, is lifechanger2.myvi.net. That's LIFCHANGER, the number 2.myvi.net, N-E-T. So if you're looking to lose weight, get healthier, they have fantastic vitamins. Let me tell you about the vitamins that they have on there. It's one that you take in the morning and one that you take at night. And when I tell you, it makes you feel so good. It's like you can really feel the difference between their vitamins. I've taken other vitamins over the counter before, even bought some of the more expensive ones, and I tell you, these really make you feel good. And it also, the PM one, I notice I sleep better when I take that one as well. So again, that's a lifechanger2.myvi.net. They have plenty of products on there: cereal, supplements, vitamins, the shake mix, which is fantastic. Anything that you're looking for to try to help you lose weight, feel better, more energy, they have something for you on the site. So check them out at lifechanger2.myvi.net. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Lucy. It just came out, I believe, last Friday. It's a really good movie with my girl, Scarlett Johansson. I think she's one of the best actresses out there right now. Probably because I fell in love with her from Iron Man when she played Natasha Romanoff on Iron Man as part of the Avengers. That is my girl. I wish I could fight like her and just be like her. Okay, I just want to be her. That's my thing. So she has this movie out called Lucy, and it's about a human who gets to use 100% of their mind based off of this drug that was created. So that's all I'm gonna say about the story, because I don't want to be a spoiler for anybody. It's a really good movie. I do recommend it. I had somebody tell me that others were describing it to them like The Matrix. Like some of them weren't getting it, just like when The Matrix came out, they didn't get it, they didn't understand. Well, I was told that some people are feeling that same way about this movie. So I will tell you, it is an out-of-the-box thought process, which is why this conversation is going to be an out-of-the-box kind of thought process. But it is a really good movie. It will get the wheels turning in your head, and if this isn't the kind of thing that you normally watch, I'm sure you'll get curious about it and maybe look into it. So I just want to plug that, even though I don't get paid for it, but it was a good movie. But it also created a lot of conversation between me and some other people, and it keeps those conversations keep popping up. In addition to that, we had a meeting at my job on Friday, and they showed a video of Will Smith. Apparently he does inspirational speaking, or they put videos together based off of his interviews and things like that. So he talked about just his thought process with this in regards to the universe and things like that. And one of the phrases that they use, which I've heard several times now, because once you start looking into stuff like this, you come across all kind of materials. But one of the things it was mentioned in there, and like I said, I've heard previously, was thoughts are physical. Now, in today's time, we have a very singular thought process. Everything is centered around us. So when you say self-centered, we are a self-centered, individualistic society. So we can only see what is put in front of us, and we're only concerned about what happens to us and in our direct circle. So right or wrong, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's just how it is. So, but in order to move up, in order to progress as a human being, you kind of have to get out of that thought process and really get to understanding everything as a whole. I don't know if I did it on here or not, like one of my podcasts, or if I did it on my videos or not, but I kind of have my way of explaining life. I use a pocket watch. As you know, pocket watches were, because I don't know how old you are, whether or not you know this or not, as far as my listeners go, but a pocket watch was, it's a circular watch that the older guys, and back in the day, they would clip onto their pants, and it would dangle off of a chain for them to look at. Now, I I describe life as that. The people in life, the people we come across in life. So you have those people that will look at it and say, hey, what is that? And you tell them it's a pocket watch. And they say, okay, they're fine with that. They don't have to see it. They don't need the proof. They're just like, okay, it's a pocket watch. Then you have those who are, oh, okay, well, let me see it. And you open it up and they can see the hands moving and it gives you the time. And look at that, there's the seconds. And maybe it even has one where it gives you the date. Oh, that's so cool, and that's fine by them. Then you have those that look at this pocket watch and they say, okay, well, that's cool, but how does it work? And so you open it up and they see all those gears and things running in the back of it, in the background, and they're like, oh my God, there's so much going on, it's so chaotic, I'm done. Close it up, and then they're finished. Okay, so we have those type of people already. Then you have those that look at it, open it up, and say, wow. And they actually take a look at it and say, okay, this gear moves for this one, that one moves for this one, and this one goes to that. Okay, and I can see when this one moves and this one spins this way, this one does that, and that one does this, and this does that, and they're looking at it at the whole. So it's no longer chaotic to them. They can see where there's some order to it. So I call it ordered chaos. So it looks chaotic to begin with, but then when you start taking a closer look at it, you can see there is actually some order to it, and it does actually make sense. And this is what life is. So those people who just go about life just as it is, those who kind of dig a little but not really all that, and then you have those that really take it apart and really want to look at it and really want to find out why things happen the way they do. So those would be your scientists, your doctors, engineers. Those are the type of people that actually want to look beyond just what's on the surface. Let's go a little further and see why is it like this. And so that's where you get it's like a broad sense of me telling you this, but that's kind of where the whole idea of thoughts are physical comes from. So it's you looking at it as a whole, not just one piece or one moment in life. You're looking at life as a whole, not just for you, but life in general. And collectively, we do make a difference when it comes to our thoughts. So let me explain a little bit how. So thoughts are physical. And you're probably sitting there, that's the craziest ideal ever. Who in the world will sit back and say thoughts are physical? They're thoughts. You can't touch them. You can't feel them. You can't do anything with them. They're just thoughts inside your head, just words put together inside your head. But I beg to differ. Those words that you put inside your head are words that you act off of, that you move off of, that you progress off of, or digress. Thoughts become you and who you are. What you think is who you are. So the old saying is, you are what you think. Well, you are. Okay, it's not just the food you eat, but it's your thoughts as well. So you may sit back and say, okay, well, oh, woe is me. I can't pay any of my bills. I'm always sick. I just lost my job, and oh, woe is me. Well, the whole reason you are in the predicament you're in is because of the thoughts that you had previously. So you can say, what do you mean by that? I didn't ask for this. In a way, you did. How many times have you gone to your job and say, oh my God, I can't stand this job. I hate it. I wish I didn't have to go to work, blah, 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 blah. So what happens is the universe hears that. Okay, you wish you didn't have to go to work. Well, your wish is my command. Boom, now you're fired. You don't have a job. And now you're sitting there like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Why did I get fired? Why did this happen to me? Well, it happened to you because you asked for it. You thought how horrible your job was. And you probably went in there and you probably halfway did it, or just did just enough to get by, try to stay under the radar, or maybe you were just lapsadaisical about it because it's so hard to get up to get to work, so you came in tardy a few times. Whatever the reasoning is, whatever it is that you did, maybe you messed up on the work job too bad, maybe you weren't catching on quick enough, whatever it was, you asked the universe to help you get fired from your job so you wouldn't have to go anymore. Now, it may not be in the manner in which you wished, but you asked for it. So your thought on how horrible your job is created the fact that you don't have one now. And that you might like, oh, that's just a coincidence. Oh, that's too extreme. You can think that if you want. Like I said, this is Tea Time with Toya. These are my thoughts and opinions. You can take it or leave it. You can take it and look further into it. Don't take me at my word. Find out about it. Research it. Look into it. See why so many people say your thoughts are physical. Find out for yourself. But I guarantee you, you will get the same answer from everyone else. Your thoughts are physical, and what you think now, today, affects your future. So take me for example. So I do writing, which if you go to toyascreations.com, there's actually a clip of it on there for the book I'm trying to get out. I got 2 more short stories to edit, and then I can finally put it out. So I do writing, and I actually work with the editor. So if you ever need an editor, please contact me. I got the best one in town. She's wonderful. I love her to death. So I got a really good editor. We work together on my writing so that I can get this first book published. And this is me actively working towards what I want to do in the future, which is to be a writer. I would love to be able to stay home and write. That I would love to be able to do that. Write and paint and just go about my day. And so I am physically working towards the thought of me being a writer. So right now it is a thought in my head. In the future, it's going to come to fruition. I will be that writer that I want. I will have my published book. I will be a best-selling author. And you can say you heard it first on on Tea Time with Toya on August 3rd, 2014. Why? Because I already know that this is going to happen, because that is the thought process that I have. So when you think of something positive or negative, you make it come to be. Now you can say and tell everybody, oh, I got bad kids, they are the worst kids, you know, they don't listen, they don't do this, and guess what? You have bad kids that don't listen, that don't do this and don't do that. Those same kids can go to somebody else who's positive about them, who says, you know what, these are good kids, and they will listen if you give them direction, and they have no problem doing this, they have no problem doing that, and they desire to learn. And those same 2 kids that are horrible when they're with you will be awesome with that other person. Why? Because of their thought process about them. So you think you have bad kids. So guess what? You're going to treat them like they're bad kids. You think you have kids that are worthless and don't know nothing. Guess what? They're going to act and portray themselves as somebody who's worthless and doesn't know anything. Now, you take those same kids who say, you know what? These are wonderful kids. They're going to grow up and be wonderful people. And guess what? Those same 2 kids will grow up and be wonderful people because of the person that they were with and that believed in them. So you make your thoughts reality. So that's why they tell you all the time, if you have a goal, write it down. Shoot for your goal. You know, shoot for the stars. If you fall, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you land amongst the stars. However the thing goes. I just noticed it was always backwards to me, because the moon is a lot closer than the stars. So I would say shoot for the stars. And if you miss, hey, grab the moon. But that's me. I guess I think too hard on stuff. I analyze it too much. But your thoughts become reality. They become what you will eventually live. So if you want a better life, then start thinking better now. You know, change your thoughts, become more positive. And another thing that helps as well is to be grateful for what you have. So many times now we always concentrate on what it is we don't have, and we're not grateful for what it is we do have. If you have a roof over your head, you have something to be grateful for. If you have food on your table, you have something to be grateful for. If you have clothes on your back, shoes on your feet. Now let me tell you, shoes on your feet. That is one thing most humans take for granted, especially women. And I've known some men to do it too, but the consistency is women do it more often. So if you have shoes on your feet, you need to be grateful. Take a look at the ground outside when you walk outside. Or just think about this past winter that we had. What if you had no shoes on your feet? What if you didn't have any boots? What if you didn't have a car to get in to protect you from that cold when you went to the job? Whether you have heat or not, you still have some shelter in moving and transporting yourself from location A to location B and back again. You have something to shelter you, to protect you. And your feet, like I said, again, look at the ground when you go outside. You will be amazed at the things that you see. And imagine the fact that if you didn't have any shoes. So shoes, if you have shoes on your feet, then you have something to be grateful for. If your children are safe, you have something to be grateful for. If your children are still here and you're alive to be with them, you have something to be grateful for. Look at your life, and I mean truly look at every single thing that you have in your life. You have so much to be grateful for. Yet people complain because they feel they don't have enough. Well, that feeling of not having enough is going to keep you in a bad situation. Because you have that mentality, I don't have enough. Instead think better. Create better thoughts. About your future. That okay, yeah, right now I might be struggling, but I have a house that I live in, a bed I sleep in, there's food on my table, lights, heat, gas, everything that I need, I have, and I'm able to provide for my children, even if it's not the circumstance that I wish it to be right now. This is what it is. But you know what? In the future, it's not going to be like this. So you start thinking positively, you start changing your thought process, and your life will become the life that you want it to be. But it starts now. So your thoughts are physical. I can't say that enough. Your thoughts are physical. Your thoughts are physical. Your thoughts are physical. You make it real. What you live, what you think, you make it real. You make it happen. So if your thoughts are, I always get these cars I break down. I always have bills I can't pay. I always have a hard time on my job. People are always picking on me. Oh, maybe, you know what? This is one I heard in one of the things I listened to over the years, where it was talking about this man. He was homosexual, and he complained all the time about how everybody was picking on him, how people bullied him. All these horrible things happened to him just because of the fact that he was homosexual. Someone told him, change your thought process. Stop looking at people like that. And what ended up happening is he worked on it and he worked on it, and over time he noticed that people stopped bullying him, that people started acting nicer to him. He stopped having problems on his job. Everything that he portrayed or thought that he saw going on in his life that he didn't like, that was so horrible, when he changed his thought process on it, all that horrible stuff went away. Okay, because you attract what you think. You think negative things are going to happen to you. You think positive things will happen. But you have to keep it up. And yes, it sounds like a lot of work, but it is in the beginning. But to me, the outcome and what happens because of it is so much greater than what it is you have to go through now. So yes, you have to catch yourself thinking those bad thoughts and flip them. And what I mean by flipping them is you turn it into something positive. So if you sit back and you're like, oh my God, I don't feel like going to work today, flip it. You know what? I have a job to go to that helps me pay my bills, and get up and go to work. Oh, I feel so sick. You know what? Flip it. I feel fantastic. And you may feel like you laying on your deathbed, but just keep telling yourself, I feel fantastic. I feel great. And guess what? You will feel better. So you get these negative thoughts in your head. Change them, flip them, make them positive, and you will see so many different positive things start to happen to you. I try to be as positive as I can, and even I have my difficult moments. You hear me do these broadcasts, or you may know me as a person, see me smiling and everything all the time, but I have my moments too. And so yesterday I wasn't feeling good at all. I still feel kind of crappy today, but it's a lot better than it was yesterday. So I was feeling crappy. I'm like, let me go to CVS and pick up my prescription, and I'm going to take my butt home. Well, wouldn't you know it, I just so happened to make a turn where you weren't supposed to turn on red. I just made sure there wasn't no cars coming, and then I made my turn. So naturally, I got pulled over by the police. And first, I didn't even know why he was sitting back pulling me over, but I didn't feel good. I didn't really care. So as soon as he walked up, I'm already getting my registration, my license, and my insurance, all that stuff out to give to him. And he just asked me, he's like, well, why'd you turn at that light that said no turn on red? I just looked at him. And I'm trying to backtrack in my head, so I knew I had to be looking crazy to him. I couldn't work it out in my head, because like I said, I wasn't feeling good at the time. So I couldn't work it out in my head. I just said, forget it. I said, you know what? I'm not feeling really good right now. I'm just trying to get to CVS so I can get my prescription and go home. I wasn't paying attention. And it's just as simple as that. So he asked me, how's your record? I said, well, it should be clean, because I can't remember having anything. I don't think I have any issues, which I know now I don't. But, I just told him that. And he's like, okay. He's like, well, I'm going to let you go. You drive safe. Don't do it again, because there's a lot of accidents that happen at that corner. And feel better. And gave me my stuff and let me go. And I attribute that to the fact that, number one, I try to be as positive as I can. So I'm a very positive person. 2, I treat people with respect. 3, I am grateful for everything I have in my life. I tell myself, I don't always say it out loud, but I tell myself a lot of times, if I died today, I will be grateful for what I had. I will be happy for the life that I have. I have great kids. My parents are doing better. My sister's trying to do better and getting her household together. It's a lot of positive things going on. I'm surrounded by great people every day wherever I go, whether it's at work, whether it's the store, whether it's a networking event or something business-wise for me. I am surrounded by the greatest people in the world. And so with me having that, naturally I'm going to attract positive things. So granted, and I think I said it to myself before he pulled me over, that I really need to pay attention. I don't know if I should be out here in this road, because that's how crappy I felt yesterday. So to me, I looked at the police officer pulling me over as a, come on, get yourself together and pay attention out here, sweetheart, before something bad happened. And it was a couple of more places I was going to go to, but after that incident happened, I'm like, okay, let me take my butt home. So this is what I mean when I say your thoughts become physical. When you think positive things happen to you. When you have negative thoughts, negative things happen to you. The other thing is, you also have to be aware of what you're putting out there. So if you're ask a question to the universe, to God, to whoever, you have to be open to listen to the answer. You got to be able to listen to the answer and be open to receive it. Otherwise, it's just going to be out there. And don't expect it to happen overnight. You can't just do one day and say one positive thing and expect lifetime of positive things to happen to you. Okay, it's going to take time, and you need to understand that as well. Now, with this, if you have any other further questions, you can always contact me on toyascreations.com. That's TOYACREATIONS.com. I feel like I'm on the spelling bee. But toyascreations.com. You can always contact me on there, or if you're listening to this off of YouTube, you can always leave a comment. I do check those to see if anybody left comments. So if you have any questions or you want some extra guidance on anything I said today, just contact me and I'll help you out, because it's a lot of stuff that I've watched over the years, or that I've been led to myself over the years. But just remember, thoughts are physical. So what you think today creates the future you will have tomorrow. Okay? And I don't mean tomorrow literally. It's a metaphor. But so think positively and live life to the fullest. All right, so you guys have a good day. I want to say thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed this. And go see the movie Lucy. Yes, I'm sponsoring that, but not directly. I'm, just like it. All right, take care and talk to you next time.